Hey everyone, Mo here, and before the video begins, I just want to let you guys know that my schedule has opened up for me to do coaching again. So if you're interested in private one-on-one coaching for me to help you, whether you're a newer player and you want to excel at the game very quickly and learn the fundamentals without developing any bad habits early, or if you're an experienced player who's already maybe platinum or diamond in your top 1%, but you need some help filling in the gap to get you to that 0.01%, to make you just some of the best, then hit me up on Discord and I can get you in some private one-on-one coaching lessons to help you polish up any skills you want to refine and help you learn all of the secrets to becoming a top player. That's it. I hope you enjoy the video. Hey everybody, Mo here, and today I'm bringing you guys 5 new/updated decks to play with the new expansion. I don't remember what this expansion is called. It's called like Beyond World. No, it's not Beyond World. I don't know what this expansion is called, to be honest. I never really know the names of them. Except for Rise of the Underworld, because I won that seasonal. I'm the seasonal champion. But in this video, I'm bringing you guys the 5 new/updated decks to play in the new season with the new expansion. So for the new decks, I included, a couple Kai'Sa decks, an Evelynn deck, and a Gwen deck. And then I brought up 2 decks that I think got a lot from this new expansion to make them a lot better and could possibly bring them back into the meta. I'm going to have a disclaimer. I don't think any of these are like refined versions of the deck, like especially these new decks here, like the double Kai'Sa, the Evelynn, and the Gwen deck. I'm not claiming these are the best version built, and I promise you, not a single person is going to have the best version built on day 1 or day 0. So if they tell you it's the best version, just take that with a grain of salt and just use it as a good starting point. So take these 3 decks and use them as a very good starting point, and then do your own deck building, your own deck refining, or check back later, in a week or 2 weeks when people have had time to actually refine these lists, and then go and grab you a new list. But yeah, before we get into the decks, I just wanted to remind you guys that 68% of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to me. So if you guys could do me a huge favor, click that subscribe button, leave a comment down below on what type of content you guys enjoy watching from me. If you like these, the competitive deck guides, if you just want to watch more meme videos, meme decks, stuff like that, let me know down below, because I really just make this content for you guys. So I always want to make sure I'm bringing you guys content that you all enjoy and actually want to see. So I always appreciate feedback, and yeah. So that's it for the intro. Let's get into the video. So let's start off. We'll kind of layer them with like new deck, old deck, new deck, old deck, new deck. So let's start with the newest deck that uses both of the champions, Evelynn Kai'Sa. So it's very clear after Evelynn reveals that she's supposed to go with Kai'Sa, and I think Evelynn Kai'Sa is going to be like the most tried, Evelynn archetype. I don't really even know how to make her work outside of Kai'Sa, if I'm being completely honest with you. It just makes sense to play her with Kai'Sa. I don't know. So I think, I definitely think this is a good way to do it. I think this is a really good way to start. You get to play, the good Husk cards. You get to play this Scout guy. I think the Scout guy is actually really good. The fact that you just like grant Scout to Kai'Sa, you like grant Scout to anyone is good. The fact that you can have another Husk in play and this gets like Scout Tough, Scout Regenerate, Scout quick attack, like Scout Elusive obviously is the high roll, right? Like that is insanely good. And then you just transfer those over to Kai'Sa, like a little transfer action is super crazy. So I think this is like a very good starting spot. And of course I'll put all of the links down in the description below for all of these decks, all the deck codes, so that way you can take these deck codes and go ahead and try your own to refine them. So yeah, so it plays like just very standard Shurima stuff. Plays your Ancient Hourglass, because Ancient Hourglass is so broken, it's not even funny. Keep your Kai'Sa and your Evelynn alive. And play Solitude. This is kind of just like a filler card. That's why it's only a 1 of. I don't think it's very good, but if it does end up being good, I put 1 in because you might as well try it. Because if it is just randomly really good, like fuck it, might as well play it. Steam I think is really good. I don't think you need 3 though. Void Abomination I think is pretty good. It's just kind of like the arsenal of keywords, or it's the arsenal of Evolve instead of landmarks that uses Evolve. Obviously Quicksand's really good card. You have your champion. Hothead is probably a hot take. I think you could take him out here or something that seems more useful, like Ruthless or like Merciless Hunter is probably fine. So you can do like 2 Merciless Hunter, like 1 Hothead if you wanted to, especially since Merciless Hunter has a fearsome keyword. That could be very good. But I wanted to try Hothead just to see what happens if you make your champions like a lot bigger. I'm also just always looking for an excuse to actually play this card, so there's that. But yeah, I like this. Salter's fine. I mean, it's just like a nice little anti-aggro create a Husk. You probably don't need 3 of them. We'll see. Hate Spike, good. Creates, you know, summon the random husk. You basically just like use this on a husk, like on a shitty husk, kill an early unit, summon a husk that you hope is better than your shitty husk. And outside of that, it's just like, you know, attack, kill. You play Kai'Sa like she's Pantheon, level her up, give her like a gajillion keywords. Again, ideally, it's you get this guy with Scout plus Elusive. You give it to Kai'Sa. Oops, you have 2 Scout Elusive units. Oops, you win the game. That's the idea behind it. So now that was a new deck. So let's go to the old deck. The old deck, my favorite. Everyone knows me as discard aggro guy, so this is discard aggro. But I think, but with salvage scrap, I literally think the salvage scrap is enough, and this card is so fucking good that it's enough to bring discard aggro back. Because your curve is like you probably play some amount of like Draven's biggest fan. You probably play like 2 at least, because you really need Draven, right? So you go like Draven on 1, House Spider on, or sorry, biggest fan on 1, House Spider on 2, Draven on 3. Like attack. Like that's a pretty good curve, right? So you go like attack with Draven. So Draven summons an axe on attack or on summon, and then you attack. He gets jump block, but he makes another axe, right? Then you go, okay, turn 4, you play like any 2-drop or something, and then you go salvage scrap, discard the 2 axes from Draven, and then you will get 2 0-mana 1-drops. And all of the 1-drops in PNZ Noxus are like so fucking good. Like this, like there's very few actual like really misses. Like this card's not very good, and like Adaptatron isn't like super good, but like this card good. Like again, drop border not very good in your aggro deck, but it's, you know, not bad. Like you put a vision on this, like even with this, I'm gonna take it back. Like these cards aren't bad, especially like with vision and buffs. Like good. It's like, oh, it's like, you know, 2-1 that gives you mana, 3-1, like 2-1 with fearsome, 3-2, like 2-1 that puts buff caps in your opponent's deck. It's like, oh, 2-1 that like can't be blocked by big units. You know, it's like your 1-drops are so good, and then they cost 0 mana. So you get to go like turn 2, play like Battlecaster, discard both axes, get 2 random like 1-drops for free, play 2 0-mana 1-drops, open attack with Battlecaster, and just like vision, win the game. Like this is very much a triple Battlecaster, triple vision style deck where you're just like swarming the board. If you have Draven and salvage scrap, you will always have a full board on turn 4. If you notice, we're not playing any crowd favorite because your turn 4, you're not wanting to play like one big unit. Usually you're wanting to just make sure that you can refill the board after your opponent kills like Draven or something into your arena Battlecaster. So like, I think this deck is extremely strong. And I think this card is just so broken that it can help you out. And then if you need to, you can like cheat out. Like if, let's say you don't have Draven, and it's your turn 3 and you have 2 spell mana, you can literally just go like, okay, discard Vision or something, or discard like Get Excited, play a like 4 mana unit on turn 3. And then it's like, okay, well, what are your 4 mana units in PNZ Noxus, right? And it's like, oh, you can get like, you know, potentially a 5/4 like overworld unit. Like you can get Aloof Travelers, isn't the greatest, but hell, it helps you like refill your hand. Like this card's not bad. This card's not bad. Like you can just straight up get a crowd favorite. Like this card's not bad. You know, you can get like quite a few decent cards, because you have to remember these also cost 3 mana, right? So that's like imagine 3 mana 2/4 like elusive. Like and you'd all randomly just like get an elusive like aggro card like in your aggro deck, right? Like that's pretty silly. You could discard like survival skills and get just like a random 6 mana card or 6 mana unit for 5, and you're just like, oh, I'm playing like Battering Ram for some reason. Like I'm playing like all this like random trash. Like you just like randomly get it, but for cheap if you need it. And so it's really good. It's a good way to like discard your cards if you need to discard the Jury Rig, Flame Chompers, like Survival Skills Vision, stuff like that. It's good. It gives you multiple discards. This card's just going to be like better than Rummage basically. And then yeah, if you use it on like the Jury Rig, the Flame Chompers, then you get 2 and 3 drop units for, you know, 1 less. And PNZ Noxus is some of the best 2 drop units. Like you get like, oh, 1 mana like Boom Crew Rookie, right? Like you just go discard Jury Rig, 1 mana Boom Crew Rookie. Like heck fucking W. Like this shit is so funny. And it's really just broken with axes, and then just like good on Flame Chompers, Jury Rig, and like anything else. But it's really broken with axes. So that's where I'm hoping to that's where I'm really hoping to abuse it with. So now we'll go back to a new deck. So we just saw an Evelynn deck. So we'll go to Poppy Gwen. This is by far my favorite Gwen deck. I think this is probably the best Gwen deck. I actually have a video coming out on it, as well as the Yordle and Arms deck I'm about to show you. But I have a video coming out on this. Again, this isn't the most refined version of it, but I think this is by far the best Gwen deck I've seen, and like the best Gwen concept I've seen, compared to people just going like, oh, Control F Hallow, put in like, you know, 3 of these guys and 3 of these guys and third one of that. Like, that's really bad. Like, don't do that. A lot of times when Riot gives us these archetypes and these new keywords, not all of the cards are playable. So what this deck does is it abuses this hollowed keyword, because while like these cards aren't very good, the hollowed keyword is extremely fucking good. Like, after I die for the rest of the game, that your first ally, or the ally attacking in the first slot, gets power equal to the number of hollowed units that have died this turn. And what is that really good with? Challenger units. Because now you take like let's say you play like this guy on turn 1, and it blocks or attacks it like trades on turn 1 or 2, right? And in turn 3 you play Laurent Protege. Well, now instead of having a 3-mana 2/4 challenger, which is a not great stat line, you have a 3-mana 3/4 challenger, which having that 3 attack is fucking huge. And a 3-mana 3/4 challenger is absolutely insane. So you get stuff like that, right? It's like, oh, well, Poppy, what's the issue with Poppy? It's like her power is really low in the like mid to late game if you're already buffing stuff. Well, Hollowed like makes it so your Poppy always buffs everything. It's like, of course you get Gwen, which Gwen is like a ridiculously broken card. You can like make your 1-mana challenger unit trade up into a 5-drop like on turn 5 or something. Like, you can eventually just outgrind your opponent with nice stats, good keywords. Gwen like solo-handedly like wins you games sometimes. And then like to top it all off in the late game, eventually how Hollowed works is you eventually just have like Hollowed 5 or 6. You play like any shitty 1-drop, and then now all of a sudden you're attacking with a 1-mana 7/1. And hopefully you've done damage by like this point in the game. So you just go like Fleet Feather Trekker, attack you for 7. They block, you go Atrocity. And, you know, just like hope they don't have a removal spell or something. And like, this is really good reach. And that's like worst case scenario. Best case is you're just like playing cards. They have to block eventually. They block your Gwen or something. Your Gwen's draining them and killing them. You have like a bunch of life, and then they tap out for something, and you're just like, boom, Atro your face. So I think this deck is like, I think this deck is extremely strong. I don't know exactly what all the ratioing and everything like that is. But I think this is by far the best Gwen deck, or best Gwen concept I've seen. So number 4 is Yordle and Arms. So I have a video coming out on this deck also. It also abuses the new Salvage Scrap card. I think this card's broken, but also it abuses Sneezy Bickle Dust. So I go into a long spiel about why this deck is good in my new video, but to give you the TLDR, Yordle and Arms stopped being played because it wasn't consistent. Because if you didn't just draw your Yordle and Arms card, your deck was pretty bad. You played like essentially just like 1-mana like 2/1s the whole game, and like shitty 1-mana and 2-mana cards. But with Sneezy Bickle Dust now, you essentially get to play 6 Yordle and Arms or 5 Yordle and Arms. Like, you get to play twice as many Yordle and Arms. So you have, you know, twice as many odds to draw something that like buffs your Poros into like 3/3 Poros at burst speed, and like makes your Elusives really big, makes your Flame Chompers big because they're going to be created. Any created unit you get off of Salvage Scrap is going to get big, you know, like stuff like that. So it just basically made the Yordle and Arms combo more consistent, and it makes it less interactable. Yes, it makes your units like 1 smaller, but it is uninteractable, whereas your opponent can't go, oh, in response to your Yordle and Arms, like kill a bunch of your units. It's like, no, you don't get to do that because it's that focus speed, so essentially burst speed. You just go like, okay, Bickle Dust attack you, and your opponent doesn't have time to play a blocker. Your opponent doesn't have time to play a stun card. Your opponent doesn't have time to play, like for instance, like what is it, like Crescent Strikes, like the stun 2. Like, your opponent can't do that. Your opponent can't like Mystic Shot your units in response. So this card's really, really solid. And then the last deck we're going to go over is basically just, it's Kaisa Akshan. So this deck is a lot like Sivir Akshan, where you're just like, oh, I'm playing Shurima, I'm playing Demacia, I'm playing good units, I'm like outvaluing you. But Sivir kind of fell off and is really bad. She's too slow and too vanilla.
And Kai'Sa is really, really nuts. Kai'Sa's really good, especially with something like Blinding Assault, because Kai'Sa has quick attack already, right? So the problem with Sivir is Sivir kind of just gets like chump blocked down, and if you don't draw exactly Absolver, then you don't really ever win the game. Whereas with Kai'Sa, you can immediately go like turn 5, play Kai'Sa, play Blinding Assault, like burst speed, give my Kai'Sa Challenger Scout. And so now you just have this like 5-mana 4/4 Challenger Scout quick attack unit, kill off like a minimum of 2 units for free that round. Like a minimum of 2 units for free. You start taking board control immediately. Eventually you play like Ruined Runner the next turn. It's like, oh, well now my Kai'Sa has Challenger Scout, quick attack, and Overwhelm, and Spell Shield. You can't deal with it. It's like, oh, well if you try to react to me, I have Supercharge, which is like, you know, I can just like proactively give it Overwhelm and Spell Shield. And then you go like, that's pretty crazy if you ask me. So it's a really good deck to take board control with, single-handedly off of Kai'Sa. Like being able to go like any challenger unit, Kai'Sa, okay, I have quick attack challenger unit is really good. Obviously the high rolls quick attack challenger scout is really good. You have a bunch of ways to give it Overwhelm with like Ruin Runner on top of where is it? Absolver. So you get to play, oh, did I not put Absolver in this deck? Oh. Well, you put Absolver in this deck. You get to play Quicksand because you're Shurima. So, yeah, this deck's really solid. I don't know how good it'll actually be because I know, like, Akshan Sivir isn't really good right now, but I know it's because, like, Sivir is just, like, a bad card, and so you're really playing with, like, 3 champions. But hopefully Kai'Sa's enough to bring this deck back. Yeah, and you get to play the new card, which is pretty pog. But, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Those are the 5 new/updated decks for this season that I'm really excited to try. I've already made videos for a couple of these, so make sure to check those out when they go live. And you can do that by making sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell so you get notifications when I post any video. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next video.